this is the news for the Economic Development Group. Today's story is going to be about how climate change can hinder efforts supporting female entrepreneurship in Zimbabwe, specifically in the fishing sector. This story draws on reporting by Farai Shan Mataisha, a journalist based in Mutare, Zimbabwe, for CNN, and focuses on a project initially funded by UN Women. In the 1950s, many Zimbabweans from the indigenous Tonga ethnic group were forcibly displaced from their land along the Zambezi River to allow for the construction of the man-made Lake Kariba, which was dammed for fishing and hydroelectric purposes. Many were resettled in the Binga district, further down the river towards its outlet in the Indian Ocean, including in the village of Sabangwe Mouth. Historically, most women in the village sold seafood in the local market or wove reed baskets, while most men worked as fishermen catching kapenta fish, a far more profitable career path. In 2011, however, a local charity called Zubo Trust set out to challenge the rigid gender norms of the industry. Unless otherwise credited, most of the images in this video are from their work. So using a grant with UN Women, Zubo Trust built a fishing rig with built-in toilets and bathing facilities, which most women in the town had said had kept them from feeling that they can engage in the fishing industry. Most of the male fishermen would bathe in the riverbanks, which was frowned upon for women and could also pose a sanitary issue. And Zubo Trust then selected 10 women from the local market and trained them on sustainable fishing practices, hosted meetings with community leaders and the women's husbands to incorporate community input, and launched discussions about gender norms in Zimbabwe. The resulting project, the Vindauko Benakazi Kamenta Fishing Cooperative, launched on International Women's Day in 2012. Zimbabwe's Minister of Women Affairs attended the launch because it's the first all-women fishing cooperative in the district, and one of the first in the country. At their peak, the women were earning more than $400 a month each, in a country where the monthly salaries for civil servants such as teachers is around $80. However, climate change and environmental impacts have severely damaged the fishing industry near Lake Kariba, and the women's cooperatives have seen its profits fall drastically. Drought years in 2018 and 2019 lowered the water level in much of the Zambezi River, making it impossible to rig and disturbing kapenta breeding areas. The Zimbabwe Parks and Wildlife Management Authority had to stop issuing fishing permits after illegal fishing ventures and poaching led to overfishing, with more than double the legal limit of fishing rigs operating in the lake and its estuaries. This harmed legal fishing cooperatives like Vindauko Benakazi. Most significantly, the water of the Zambezi River, now shallower and in a generally hotter environment because of climate change, has warmed by several degrees over the past decade that the Women's Fishing Cooperative has been in existence. Studies from Zimbabwe's Ministry of Lands have shown that the warmer water, which has a lower oxygen content, lowers fish reproduction and survival rates and increases toxic algae blooms. Annual kapenta harvests in the Binga district have fallen precipitously. Unfortunately, the story for this year's Earth Day week isn't an overly positive one. The effects of climate change have essentially undone the benefits of international development funds. At EDG, we focus a lot on the UNDP's Sustainable Development Goals, and I think one of the main parts we got to focus on this week is the sustainable part of that. Not just sustainability in a financial sense, but in an environmental one too. Climate change and environmental concerns are fundamentally intertwined with everything we do or study with respect to the economy, especially in developing economies. With this week's story, keep in mind UN Sustainable Development Goals number 5, gender equality, number 13, climate change, and number 14, life below water. Now, on to the meeting.